Everyone, good evening. I am Shruti Bhatt, a student coordinator of the upcoming hackathon dot slash 4.0. And on behalf of the entire team, I welcome you all. So, today we begin with the final workshop in the series of workshops presented to you by dot slash 4.0. As you all must already be aware, our today's talk will be a talk explaining what, why, and how of machine learning. Talking about machine learning, ML is one of the most researched as well as one of the most booming fields currently because of its wide range of applications and its incredible ability to adapt and provide solutions to complex problems efficiently, effectively, and quickly. We bring to you this workshop that includes a conceptual introduction to machine learning by Mr. Ayon Roy. Without further ado, let me introduce you to our today's speaker, which is Mr. Ayon Roy. Mr. Roy is a machine learning enthusiast who helps artificial brains boost their intelligence. He has mentored many international hackathons, contributed to the success of startups, and has created numerous open source projects revolving around AIML and data science. Mr. Roy has also presented talks at various webinars and conferences. And it makes me so proud to share that Mr. Roy is also going to be one of the mentors for dot slash 4.0. Mr. Roy, we feel honored to have you here today. And now I would like to request you to take over.
Yeah, sure, Shruti. Thanks for the warm welcome. And just the housekeeping, like my voice and screen is visible, right? So,
Yeah, it is audible and visible.
okay, perfect. So, good evening, everybody. And today, as Shruti told, that we would be discussing about what, why, and how of machine learning, because one of my main motive behind choosing this topic was like there are a lot of definitely there is a lot of hype around machine learning. There is definitely a lot of posts that you might see on LinkedIn or Facebook that folks are doing a lot of projects, folks are doing a lot of machine learning stuffs, but actually a student who is just entering college or who is trying to get into any specific domain really finds it difficult, that where to start, what to start, and what are the things that I should definitely learn before starting any specific domain. So I chose this topic, and I thought, how about talking about this topic to you folks all, right? So a little bit introduction about me, though Shruti just gave an awesome introduction. Thanks. Like I am currently a data science intern at Internshala. So you might all be familiar with Internshala. Like maybe you find internships there. So like I am in the data science team of Internshala, and I'm also a final year student of BTech Computer Science. And I also had the privilege of bringing a community that's called Kaggle Days Meetup in the India for first time, and now it's even in Surat, right? Like KDM Surat is also there. So might be you can also collaborate with them and can see how you can learn or collaborate better on the domains of data science, machine learning, AI. So this is my short intro. But coming to the point, that what we would be discussing today. So I have divided the entire session into 5 parts. So like first of all, we would be discussing about the different domains of AI, ML, DL. So mind that DL is not driving license here. And what then we would be focusing on what is AI, machine learning, deep learning, and then why we actually need to learn these stuffs now, because it's actually important that if you are trying to get into a domain, it really becomes important for you that how, which why I'm doing this and why there is so much hype today around AI, machine learning, so that you can get your own path and can succeed better and faster. And then once you understand these things, then we would be coming into how to start machine learning. Like in case you are just trying to start machine learning, or you are planning to start machine learning in the coming months or in the coming weeks. And I would definitely love to share my journey and how I started and what things happened and how things happened. So I try to make a coursework around that, so that other folks do not face the difficulties that I used to face while starting. And once you start machine learning, you might very often hear that you have to do projects, or like whenever you try to go for internship, whenever you try to go for a full-time job, it's like you need to have some good projects in your resume. So we will focus on how to do projects in machine learning, or what are the projects that you can do as a beginner or as a fresher, that would definitely increase your confidence and you can move ahead more successfully. And do not worry, the presentation would be shared with you. I will be sharing the entire presentation with you, so don't worry. So before moving ahead, because I would be taking up all the questions at the end of the session, like this session would be around 40 minutes long. So like 40 minutes long, and uh, we will try to wrap up majority of the things, right? So let's move. And if you have any questions, do write in the chat window or make a note so that you can ask it directly. So yeah, let's start. So before we dive into the theoretical part, this is the graphical representation of AI MLDL. So like just making you familiar with all the short forms that we are hearing now. So AI is artificial intelligence, ML is machine learning, DL is deep learning, NN is neural networks. So you might be asking that why you presented such a Venn diagram and what does this Venn diagram you signifies. So if you can see that the AI part is like the blue one that you see here. That's the largest circle. So AI encompasses all these things: ML, DL, NN. So all these stuffs come under AI only. So it's some of the folks are like think that machine learning is completely different from AI, or AI is completely different from machine learning or deep learning. It's not the case. AI is a very big domain. We would definitely focus on this individually for at least a minute. And the major thing that I wanted to convey here is like AI is the biggest circle. Like AI encompasses all this MLDL. Then in machine learning, you again have a specialization, or you again have a specific thing to learn or specific thing to do. That's called deep learning. And when you enter the domain of deep learning, you are ought to come across a topic, or ought to come across a theoretical concept that I must say, that's neural networks. Then you try to code, like you might have heard that neural network bana lenge and stuffs like that. So like this is the flow, like AI, then in AI machine learning, then in machine learning deep learning, and then when you're trying to do deep learning, you definitely use neural networks. So do not be in that confusion that AI is different, ML is different, and stuffs like that. So it's like it's kind of, they're all submerged into one specific big circle, that's AI. And when we talk about AI as a whole, so AI definitely has different divisions. So like you can see that there is NLP. So like you might have heard from folks that I do NLP, or I love to do NLP, or I try to do more projects around NLP, computer vision, stuffs like that. So NLP is my kind of like where you deal with text data. So whatever we type, whatever you post on LinkedIn, whatever you post on Twitter, definitely we do sentiment analysis on top of that. We try to make chatbots. We try to like chatbots help us with question answering, then machine translation that you use Google Translate. So NLP focuses on that, and then machine learning as a whole, they again have another divisions, that supervised, unsupervised. So supervised machine learning we will definitely focus on in the coming slides. Then we have vision. So vision is for computer vision related projects, there where you usually do face detection or face recognition or pose detection. So like might be there are a lot of projects that you would see in this hackathon that are focused majorly onto computer vision. And then you have speech, and then like a lot of opportunities in this domain. So AI just combines all these domains as a whole. Then what is AI, machine learning, deep learning? Because we were focusing on the Venn diagram just to clear the doubts that you might have that these two are different domains or stuffs. But now a little bit of definition before we actually deep dive into the very basics of machine learning or stuff. So artificial intelligence is a kind of like we as a human take certain decisions on the basis of our intelligence. Like we know that this is hot object, this is a cold object, or this is the biggest building in the world, or like we take certain decisions, or we come to certain end points or certain end decisions after using our intelligence. But how would a machine do? Machine has to, like artificial intelligence help us to develop that kind of intelligence that we as a human have into machines. Though 100% translation is not possible as of now, but definitely the future might not be that much far away that we are the machine and humans are competing with each other. So like artificial intelligence is just a way of like embedding that human intelligence into machines so that the machines can also take the decisions. But when you are using your intelligence, like when you are using that human intelligence in you, or when you are trying to embed that intelligence into a machine, you were also taught that you went to school, you went to the nursery class, there you were told that apple is of red color or orange is of orange color. So you were told that, and you were made to learn stuff, and you had to give examinations and pass the classes, and then you came to college. So you as a human also learned, but we are trying to make the machines learn here so that the machines can learn from, like let's say when we do a computer vision project. So computer vision project, as we told like it's a face detection. Let's say we are considering the case of face detection. So in face detection, you always give, let's say, 10 or 15 images of a person and tell that this is Ayan or this is let's say Shruti. So we give the machine, or we make the machines learn that this is how a person looks like, or this is the feature that a human contains. So a machine learns from there. So machine learning is just that way, like the way you learned, machines are also learning by getting a lot of images or a lot of pointers from a human, or a lot of pointers from a data. But let's say machine learning is quite good, but when we are trying to copy the perfect human brain into a machine, it definitely becomes a little bit typical, because we have to focus on how our brains work. Because we learn, definitely we learn, but when we are learning, we are actually using our neural networks in our brain, right? Like neural networks is a new network of neurons that you have. So deep learning helps us in that perspective. So deep learning definitely deals with how they try to replicate how neural networks work in our brain. They try to replicate the same into machines. So this is what is AI, machine learning, deep learning. So in case you would love to explore them, definitely you can do at a later point of time. But in short, AI is autonomous. AI machine is kind of autonomous, adaptable, able to sense and able to act rationally. So this was kind of what is AI. And then in case you are more interested towards AI applications in healthcare, definitely you have drug discovery, then you have precision medicine, then you have like you might have heard about lot of projects that are going on healthcare, let's say diagnosis and treatment, and like hell lot of things going on, applications of AI. But as we told, machine learning is an approach to achieve artificial intelligence. How a human brain intelligence can be put into machines, we are trying to achieve that with the help of machine learning. So like we discuss about this. But let's say you want to see the applications, the major applications of machine learning in the industry. You might definitely have heard about these domains. So like fraud detection, then you have cybersecurity, like how machine learning is used in cybersecurity. It's like before actually an attack takes place, the machines can detect whether the cyber attack would be happening, or what are the potential like percentage, or what is the potential probability of a attack having being happening, so that a company can take precautions, or company can take prerequisite measures before the actual attack happens, so that they can avoid the losses. So a lot of applications like fraud detection. Then you have a dosage error reduction and stuff. So definitely, like you can move ahead and can check a lot about these domains. But like as I was discussing that deep learning, why there is another domain in machine learning that's called deep learning. Because classical machine learning algorithms definitely work well. I would not say that classical machine learning algorithms won't work. When I talk about classical machine learning algorithms, it's like let's say the machine learning algorithms which are not that much super capable of doing very complicated stuffs, like maybe like the very complicated, like how cancer cell looks like or stuff. So maybe classical machine learning algorithm can do that, but with a very less accuracy. But we always try to make our machines more intelligent, and we try to make the machines more intelligent by making them understand how our brains work and how we as a human take decisions. So that took us to deep learning as a whole, where deep learning is like we try to replicate our entire brain into a machine. So that was deep learning. But you now understand what AI is, what machine learning is, what deep learning is. But might be you have a question that why there is a hype about these stuffs so much now. Because AI, machine learning, deep learning, all these domains have been into existence from 1960s or 1970s, like a hell lot of years ago. But why there is so much of hype now? So, and that's one of the reason that you are in this session. So like first thing is because when we talk about AI, machine learning, deep learning, all these are data hungry. So when I talk about data hungry, it's like if there is no data, the machines won't be able to train itself. Like if the machines won't train itself, how would you take the intelligence part out of them? So in recent days, the storage capacity has increased, because the data storage cost has been reducing drastically. Like if you see, like a Google Drive now gives you 15 GB of storage, and now there are multiple services that are available in world where the data storage capacity has definitely increased at a lower cost. So companies are utilizing that, and they are processing hell lot of data now. So sharp decrease in cost with data storage and data processing, because now cloud is coming into picture, and doing the processing is very easier now. And then you have economy, like internet economy, because we have the storage, we have the processing power, but if no one is using the internet, no one is generating the data, what we will store? So now you have the geo boom. So geo boom helped us to get a hell lot of data out of you. So like the advent of internet economy. And then you have open source tools, like most of the machine learning algorithms that you use today, or most of the machine learning libraries that you use today, are open source. And then you have like a lot of research going on in the domain of machine learning and deep learning. So you have researchers working on like immense, like they are doing immense research in these domains, and now they have the support of high powered computation. So like GPUs, TPUs are there, so they can foster their research faster and better. So these are a few things that is fostering the process of AI machine learning adoption in the industry. And maybe like it's one of the right time to jump into this domain. But again, like you should not be the amongst the crowd that is just jumping into this domain because all others are jumping. So if you're trying to start a career in this domain, definitely you should understand better, or like at least the basics of the stuffs. So I will try my best to cover those things. So in case like a lot of basics and a lot of definitions around what is AI, machine learning, deep learning, the applications. But now let's come to how to start, like how to start machine learning, because you might be like, I would not say that you do not have the resources, but you have so many of resources that you get confused that where to start. So like now no one tells that I do not have the link or I do not have a book. But now the problem with the students is like they have so many books that the student is now confused where to start, or what are the things that I should understand, because every other course looks same to me. So I will try to decipher that, and maybe you can get something out of this, and you can focus on the topics that I discuss, and maybe you can start from there. So start with maths for machine learning. I know multiple of the students might have this face or this feeling now, that whenever someone views this start with maths for machine learning, they definitely have this. At least I had, like though I have been into this domain of machine learning for 2 years now, but like when I was starting and someone used to tell me that start with maths for machine learning, I would really frown at him or her like this. So but why I am telling that stuff to you folks is like, because I made that mistake that I directly jumped into coding, because I thought that data science is only about coding. Data science is like, if you know good Python, definitely you can rock. I thought about that in the first way. But then as I started doing little of work around machine learning, then I was somewhere hit that I somewhere lacked the basics of maths required for machine learning. But again, you might think that is Aon telling you that go back and get the RD Sharmas that you read in class 11, 12 to start with maths. No, like not so much of depth in mathematics, because you are ought to become a machine learning engineer, not a mathematician. So there should be a balance, but what balance or how you can bring that balance, or what are the topics that you need to understand in maths, or that what is actually required in machine learning. So why should I do maths? I will definitely focus on like what are the topics in mathematics that you should do. But why should I do maths? First, it's like, if you see like in computer science, everything that you do boils down to zero and ones, and everything boils down to a computer processing computational process. And if you can optimize your algorithms, if you can optimize your code, you can optimize what you're actually doing in machine learning or in any code, that definitely becomes easier and faster for a machine to compute. And when you're doing machine learning, it's like a lot of algorithms, lot of models you might have heard, and all those models are dependent on mathematical equations or mathematical derivations that we used to read, or that we have already read in class 11, 12th. So it's not that semester 1 semester 2 maths, but definitely like if you have a sound knowledge about the things that you have read in class 11, 12, definitely that would work. But what are the topics? And like as I'm telling you that class 11th and 12th maths would be enough for you to like start with mathematics for machine learning, you would definitely relate, because these are the topics. Like the topics is linear algebra. So linear algebra is mostly into matrices and determinants. And now students ask me that why matrices and determinants. Like let's say you have in your phone gallery, you have an image, you want to rotate it, or you want to like you just want to crop things, or you just want to play with that image. So taking the example of cropping the image or rotating the image. So when we talk about matrix or matrix transpose, so you can now relate that matrix transpose was used to do that only, like row becomes column, column becomes rows. So this was a simple example that how when you try to do machine learning, and then you go into that domains of let's say computer vision, or you try to deal with a lot of data. So data is usually in the format of tables, let's say, like most of the times it's in the form of tables, but now you have MongoDB and other non-relational databases out there. But if your concepts of matrices are clear, matrices and determinants, definitely you can do well. So a little bit of knowledge would be very good, and you can definitely understand linear algebra from the course that I mentioned here. So no worries, I will share the slides. And calculus is like, why calculus? Like you might, when you try to do machine learning, you might have heard about a concept called, or you might hear a concept called gradient descent, or like slope of line, because you might come across linear regression or other algorithms. So linear regression is actually kind of a line. So when we talk about line, definitely you have slope. So slope is dy by dx. So again, that's a calculus. And differential calculus, not, no one is going to ask you here that what is the triple integration of sine x by cos x, or very very typical questions that you used to do even in semester 1 and semester 2 of your college. No one would ask you that typical questions, but definitely you should have a sound knowledge that how things work, or how integration and differentiation work. Then probability, machine learning is all about probability. You just try to make a prediction that this would happen or this would not happen. And statistics, like when you play with lot of data, when you play with a lot of tabular data, or when you play with lot of numbers, then definitely you have to take care about mean, mode, median, standard deviation, variance. So definitely, like only four topics in maths: linear algebra, calculus, probability, statistics. And if you devote, let's say, 1 hour or 2 hours, 1 hour at max in a day to understand these topics, like maximum in 15 days or to 30 days, you would be able to complete them easily, and you would have a very solid base for machine learning. And algorithms, definitely, like if you can think better, if you can think faster, like I would not say you need to have a very strong profile on competitive programming, but definitely your thinking, your logical thinking increases if you try to, solve questions, if you try to see how algorithms are made and stuff. So definitely this is like for mathematics, and a little bit of housekeeping for starting the core machine learning part. I know, like it's not fair, because I can relate with you folks. Like when someone told me in the initial days that these are the things, it sounded very easy to speak, but it's very tough to implement that. But if you have a perfect if the perfect workflow, or if you have the perfect coursework to follow, definitely you can directly go to these courses and can do it one by one. Or if you know certain topics, you can skip them at a later point of time. So move ahead, and now you have the mathematical concepts, like you now understand how stuffs work, how mean, mode, median, or things are made, or what these terms actually mean. Now as you have the concepts, and then start with Python, because now you would you would have two benefits. Now you are learning Python, and sometimes it's like this course is making me learn, that's why I'm learning. So that would not give you the perfect benefit. So it's like, if you are learning something from a course, try to implement that in your thinking, or in your world of knowledge. So now you have a knowledge of mathematics and mathematical concepts, try to implement them with the help of Python. This would definitely help you to sharpen your skills of how to translate a problem into mathematical problem, and that mindset would definitely help you while you go ahead doing machine learning in the later stage. So now you have mathematical concepts, now you know the concepts of maths, and now you understand what Python is and how Python works. And you can do, like, start from the very basics of Python. Let's say, like, do not directly jump into like classes or functions. Understand the various data types that they have, and lists, tuples, dictionaries. Try to understand them, that they would definitely help you while you are doing machine learning. So no, trust me, I'm not cheating on you. Like a lot of folks under, but it's up to you that you start maths first or Python first. But it worked for me better when I started mathematics first, and then I tried to implement those mathematical concepts using Python. So that worked for me. Maybe you can start directly from Python, and sideways you can implement the mathematical concepts using Python. So choice is yours. Now, and once you do that mathematics, and once you do the Python, now it's time, or now you are at a better position to explore the various libraries, or the various courses that people talk about in the domain of machine learning. Like if you go to LinkedIn, you might see that hell lot of students complete courses, complete certificates and stuffs. So now you are at a better position to understand things. Now you are at a better position to do certain courses. So, like, now go ahead, and one of the best course that I would suggest to you folks is the Andrew Ng course on Coursera. So definitely, like, he is one of the most famous personality in machine learning domain. So even if you write Andrew Ng, so you will get a lot of courses, but go to Coursera, Introduction to Machine Learning. He has a course on that. So start with that. And on top of that, if you find, and one of the major disadvantage that I find of his course is, like, though his contents are very good, though his way of teaching is very good, but it's not into Python. Like, he have not made, the course that he teaches is not in Python. You have to use MATLAB for doing, or for submitting the assignments. So I thought, like, try to see other alternatives which you can do, or which you can see, or which you can go and check, at least to get more sense of Python for machine learning or data science kind of stuff. So Data Camp has definitely a good course, so you can go there and can check it out. And then on top of that, when you are getting started, like, as you are on your journey to explore machine learning libraries, it would be very very much useful for you if you understand how the data pre-processing works. So data pre-processing means, like, when actually a real world data set comes into your workplace, or let's say you are trying to make a project. So when a real world data set comes, so the data is not always clean. So maybe there are a lot of errors, maybe there are a lot of missing values, maybe some data is missing or stuffs like that. So you have to pre-process that, like, before actual processing you have to do certain computation. And then sometimes you also do a data visualization, because visualization helps us to do better understand helps us to get a better understanding of the data that we have. Once you're moving ahead, now you can definitely go ahead to deep learning, NLP and stuff. But when you're starting, you would love to see how others write code, like how others write machine learning algorithms, or how others implement those projects or implement those codes. So you can see this, like how ML codes are written by, like, there are two GitHub links that I have added. So maybe you can go ahead and can check them out at a later point of time. And on top of that, if you need any resources, like, another link is there, you can definitely go and check it out. Those are definitely good links to start with. And, like, now you are fluent with Python, now you're fluent with maths, now you are trying to understand the libraries for machine learning, and you are doing certain courses. But while we are in this journey, I call it race, or I call it, let's say, the hurry to show off or stuffs. So do not be in that criteria, that you are doing courses just for the sake of posting the certificates on LinkedIn, or just to compete with your friends. So don't be in that rush, like, and completing courses. I have completed tens of courses and then adding them to resume. Don't be in that rush, but definitely do the courses, take your time, and it's okay to go slow, but it's not okay to like be where you are now. At least kickstart your journey, right? So definitely do courses and get certain experiences out of that, and then definitely you can shine your resume at a later point. But doing projects, like doing courses, definitely makes sense. But one of the thing that I find in like find interesting is like in India, 90 student, let's say 90 students do a course, but only 40% of them are able to, or like only 40 students are able to come to the last week. And out of that 40 students who come to the last week, only 20 students are able to make projects, because they somewhere missed the concepts, they somewhere did something wrong while doing the project, while doing the courses. Maybe they skipped there by thinking that yes, I know this, but actually they missed the concepts there. So before starting projects, is always important that you understand the concepts well, so that you do not face any difficulties while you are doing the projects. So that would definitely help you. And sounding like a fool, yeah, understand. Like, because definitely when you're doing a course, you definitely understand the concept, that's why you're doing a course and moving ahead. But sometimes what happens is on Coursera, the answers are already available on net. So what students do is, when they think that I'm not moving ahead, or I'm not able to solve this question, so they directly go to Google, or they directly go to GitHub and check the answers to the questions that are there in the courses, and pass the examination, or pass and get the certificates. So that a lot of students do that. I would not say that students do not do that, but don't be amongst them. So understand the concepts and try not to fool yourself that yes, I know that. Don't have that fake feeling that yes, I know stuffs, but actually you missed something in the bottom. So now you are wholeheartedly doing the courses, you understand the concepts, but now as a beginner, which projects to start with? So like you might have this question, that which projects to start with as a beginner. So this is the list of data sets that on which you can start your data science journey or machine learning journey in the first go. Like, these are very common: Titanic dataset, Iris dataset. So why everybody prefers this is because this dataset gives you a very good knowledge about how data science or machine learning or AI actually works in a real world, or how someone approaches a certain business problem, or how someone do a prediction. So if you're just starting, uh, at least even if you do not do this project, at least see how others have done and how these projects have been approached. So this way, definitely it will give you more confidence that yes, I am able to understand things better. And like, even there are multiple projects, multiple beginner projects, like housing price prediction, and the things that I mentioned, the third and fourth project that I mentioned, so stock price prediction and store sales forecasting. So these are like, a beginner can definitely start, but these two projects have a very, like, these projects are very extensive. So maybe one can do with advanced machine learning or deep learning, they can also do this project. So but focus majorly on the first two, Titanic and Iris, and as well as the last one, housing price prediction. And now, as you're just starting, you might want to have a tutorial that how actually these projects are done, or how actually students, or how actually have someone did those projects in the past. So maybe you can go and check these two YouTube links that I have mentioned. So that would definitely help you to get an idea about how someone approaches a data science project. And that way you can also try to see and try to learn that how things actually work, and so that you can also do projects that way, and at least have a very good starting point. Once you did those basic projects, or the beginner level projects, and now you would think that, okay, I understand machine learning, I understand how data science and AI works. But now, if, like, in resume, you want to make it more competitive, right? So you want to make your resume more competitive. So you try to do certain projects which you should definitely do, not only to showcase, but also to sharpen your machine learning skills. So you can go ahead and can do a little bit of advanced topics, like email spam classify, not the easy ones, like certain things around NLP. Like, if you write email spam classify deep learning, so that's definitely a good project to do and showcase. Then you have face recognition, face detection, and lot of you would be doing certain kind of projects in the hackathon too, or might be your friends would be doing. So you can see that how students actually do and how applications of machine learning are actually brought into picture. So these are the stuffs which you can definitely focus on. And on my LinkedIn, I have posted a few projects or a few dataset links that you can focus upon, which you like in case you want to explore more about how data visualization works or how exploratory data analysis is done. So like how we actually visualize the data, you can definitely go there and can check and can work on those data sets. I hope that those would be really useful for you. And like data science, machine learning, AI in the first go definitely sounds a little bit daunting. Like it used to seem daunting for me too. Like it's not that I would say that it's very easy, or it's very easy to start, or like you would be very comfortable doing that. I would not say that, but it's the way how you approach the data science or machine learning journey. So if you start well, like my journey, and I tried to make a certain kind of coursework around that, and that is what I shared with you previously. But once you are at a level when you start doing projects, so you might be hit by imposter syndrome. It's like you know stuffs, but still you would be thinking that I still don't know, or would I be able to crack the interviews, or would I be able to do certain stuff. So it's like start simple projects and be motivated, and definitely adding project in the resume is definitely good, but make sure that you understand what you are doing and you really enjoy what you are doing and be motivated about that. So like I know this talk was a little bit like maths, Python, focus a lot of focus on maths. So don't worry, you will understand things as you go, and don't think that you need to understand every stuff in a single day. Take your time, and it's okay to go slow, but make sure that you are progressing each day. So yeah, that was kind of uh, my presentation that sums a lot of things that I wanted to discuss with you. And the resources are available on my GitHub, and like I also have a blog. And then definitely you can reach out to me on my LinkedIn in case you want any guidance or any help at later point of time. And like as I told, like it may sound daunting for you at a first point, but definitely it's fun. It's really fun to understand things. It's really fun to be a part of the machine learning hype that is around in 2021. So be a part of that, and I hope that you will definitely enjoy that domain. And if you have any questions, you can definitely put them now. And that was all from my side. Thanks to the entire team of Dot Slash for inviting me, and I look forward to the submissions, or I look forward to mentor the teams in the hackathon too. So in case you want to drop an email to me, that's my email ID, ionroy2000 at pm.me, and you can visit my website ionroy.ml. So thank you guys.